40,000 plus inside the Principality. They've watched the Bears and Quins women's teams compete in the PWR already today. Now it is the turn of the men to square up on the cobbles of Cardiff. Isgró wants to go, popping it on to Grondona, inches in it. Harding locks and loads, he's got done for company, and he's squeezed it onto the white paints. Bristol's captain scores, as Bristol's former captain is celebrated and remembered. Well, and a line from Isgró into Ellis Genge, a meeting of muscle in Cardiff. Townsend has a nibble. Bristol wrap him up, swallow him up. Harlequins as close as they've been. Round the corner they go. That looks like a try. Adam Leal says shorts. Still they come, still they shunt. Kerrod in there. Petty too. Adam Leal having a long look at this. His arm was half extended. This is going to be referred to Dean Richards in the TMO booth.
I didn't see a grounding, I've then seen the ball bobble. Have you got any decision?
I haven't got a very clear grounding, so I haven't got a decision.
So Dean, we're coming to you. We don't have an on-field decision, we've seen the ball bobble over the line.
I thought that would be the angle, Jamie. The first one looks quite optimistic if you're a Quins fan. Dombrand looks like he does really well. That second angle I don't think does it for us. Here we go, this could be a very good angle. Try.
Well, Alex Dombrand had his try chopped off in the opening minutes. This one will stand.
It's a really good try, Jamie, and it's the product of three really good phases from Harlequins off that line out. Big carriers.
And if anything, those last 30 seconds are the previous 39.5 minutes in microcosm. They will be determined to take control of a match that continues to dangle in the balance. Tom Jordan gets us going again with a deep restart. And Stu Townsend, former double winner with the Exeter Chiefs. Is that a source of frustration? Because we're not used to seeing so many balls hitting the floor with Bristol.
Yeah, it's sort of continuation. Last week we were talking about that. And you can see again, like, we're going into this space, and the real challenge for us is the tackle rolling. Now we do what we control is what we can do now, and and that's what the boys are working on.
Sure, Pat, thanks for your time and for your candour, much appreciated. Feels like a big moment, this. Converted try for Harlequins, and we're talking 2-score leads. Carr around the corner. Townsend, Evans and Riley, the replacement hooker. Townsend again into the heavies. They're pounding the rock. Now they can give it some air. Isgró's under the posts. Where have this Harlequins been all season? The killer touch applied by Isgró. The foundation's Lemming can't reach it. Army might have been taken out illegally there as Bristol come again. Less than a metre in it. Bundling towards the line. Still no grounding from Isgró. Get low is the cry from Quins. Luatua scores. And Bristol have their moments. Bristol have their try. And it's game on in the final 3 minutes. Isgró out of the 22. Marmion now. Wilmore lays it back neatly. Oh, Harlequins on that, they are! And it's Alex Dombrand again. Yes, he can. The penalty drained. And 3 points, a drop goal. No longer good enough for the Bears.
Before the full time, Pete.
Did the ball go out before 80 minutes? It doesn't matter! Because the mighty Quins have rained on Bristol's parade. Jordan, how frustrating a day for that was Bristol Bears?
Yeah, you know, I think it's one of those things that you put on a massive event. You want to showcase the best side of yourself, and today we didn't do that.
When you analysed the game, I know Pat was telling us in commentary there were some frustrations around the breakdown. What did you see from the coach's perspective at that area?
Yeah, I think we lost our shape. We went in ones that then gives them opportunity at the breakdown. So we'll have to look into that, why we're not playing to our shape and getting numbers around the ball. And then ultimately you've got to look at who wants to fight to get to that ball. And at times today we didn't get off our outside foot and go and secure the ball to then put Quins under pressure.
Did it feel like Quins had more desperation in the game today?
I think they had lots of hunger. I think obviously what they went through last week, losing at home, you were always going to get the backlash. I thought our lads had hunger at times and they fought defensively. That's why the score was so low, but ultimately we didn't click in attack and we didn't secure the breakdown.
When you play the Bears way, errors do happen, passes are dropped, offloads don't go to hand, but the error count today was particularly high. Why do you think that accuracy wasn't there with an attack that can be so lethal?
Yeah, you know, you can make lots of excuses. We've probably got different combinations coming in and bleeding those back in, but ultimately this time of season we have to be better. We have to be better if we truly want to be in that hunt at the end of the season. We can't make those excuses for ourselves. We need to look at ourselves. We need to be better. We go to Toulouse next week, and those passes have to stick. If you want to win games at the top end, you can't turn the ball over as much as we did.
You're expecting a big response. I know it's pretty raw just now, pretty fresh just now, and you've probably just had a few words with the players, but you'll be expecting, I'm sure, a substantial response given the magnitude of what's coming next week and the trip you're making.
Yeah, you know, I think the good thing about the run of the season, you've got next week. We've still got time. It's a massive game in Toulouse. We'll fix what we need to fix, and we go over there and try and get the result.
Jordan, thanks for talking to us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Toby, did Harlequins silence a few critics with that performance today?
Well, it's a start for sure. Look, we're very aware of the situation that we find ourselves in, and we have to look at ourselves and how we got here. But it certainly helps, you know, a performance like that on the back of, you know, a horrific injury list and where we've been. It was unrecognisable from some of the stuff that we've done, and I'm delighted for the lads. You know, we've got to work our way out of this sort of stuff, and obviously give our fans something to go home happy with.
We'll talk about the technical and tactical side in a moment, but we all in commentary recognise the hunger, the desperation, the determination of your players today. How important was that, and how heartened by that were you, given, as you alluded to, that might not have been the case every game this season?
It's the basis of every performance. You know, it's the price of entry, and from that point of view, you've got to make sure that you compete on every play, and we certainly compete on every play, and we got our just rewards today. And you know, I'm sure there's a lot of lessons in there, and you know, we go into a knockout game in Europe next week, which is good, and the boys can take a lot of confidence, and also a blueprint of what has to happen.
If we dig into the rugby side, the technical side a little bit, you had a lot of joy at the breakdown. The scrums went either way all game. I'm sure you've been watching that with interest. Where were you most pleased with your team's performance, aside from that mental aspect?
Well, I just think rugby's. We talked about the effort pace, but we look competitive in everything we do. And you know, I spoke to the Bristol coaching staff, and they said we nullified what they wanted to do. And yeah, often that's, as you say, around the breakdown. We got involved. We didn't make life easy for ourselves. I think we can be a bit smarter, but that's part of getting better. And I think if we can do that from winning positions, and we've not won enough, we're all mindful of that. It makes Monday more palatable, and people are more open to do that, because confidence, as we know, is a frail thing.
Sure. You've got a potentially season-defining match at home to Sale, Champions Cup last 16 next weekend. How much positivity and how much heart can you take from coming here, 45,000 away from home, a game that many people predicted would be a Bristol win, some saying it would be a comfortable Bristol win. You've turned that on its head. Now can you bounce into Sale off the back of that?
Well, we have to, because as you say, it's a game-defining, season-defining game for us, and we want to continue in that competition that we've got a good history of doing well in. Even this season, the way we've gone and the way we've approached it, and we want to try and get some momentum. It's that momentum and confidence is really, really important. We know that we've got the team that we've got. We'll get some people back, which will be useful for us next week. But if we learn anything about today, we've got to transfer that week on and week out, and that's what you build seasons on.
And just lastly, Toby, in terms of availability, as you mentioned there, we know Marcus Smith and Lucas Friday were rested as per protocols this week. Are there any of the many, many injured players you've got who will be available next week?
Yeah, I think that Cunningham South will be available. We've got potentially some others that we'll have to see how they are on Monday. So we're hoping for 4 or 5 to help bolster the ranks.
Don't be well done today. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.